Hey, hey, what's going on, knife nerds? Look at the Vosteed Mini Nightshade. And here's the disassembly and reassembly video. So we're gonna go through the what to do, what not to do. This thing you guys saw has over 25 pieces. It's kind of intimidating. So, because it has so many pieces, I'm gonna use this little drop cloth, I'll say. So we don't really have to take off the clip for any maintenance. But I'm going to take it all apart just so you guys could see how to put it all back together. All right. So T6 is all around except for the pivot. It's only one T8 screw, right? And a ton of other T6s. But yeah, it's actually once you take it apart once or twice, and once you actually have a strategy and a technique on how to take this apart, it's not that scary, not that intimidating, not that daunting of a task. At first, yeah. The first time I took it apart, I kind of sat there. I was like, okay, what's an easy way that I can take this thing apart and kind of share it with you guys? And I think I kind of figured out a nice little method that it's not too bad. All right, here's the scale. Tiny little liner. All right, so on each side you have a pivot, and you have 3 body screws of the same size. Then you have the liner screw that's just a wee bit shorter. All right, there we go. Yeah, whatever. You guys will see. When you guys take it apart, you'll see. All right, so here it goes. There's that adjustable Omega spring setup. Now these back holes, I think they're a little too far. If we were to use them, it would actually pull the bar back. That's a bit too much, too loose. So right here and maybe moving it forward might be better. I'm thinking, if needed, maybe stretch the spring out a little bit. So then now it's, a little longer, and then use one of these two, and you have a bit more pressure towards the bar, the locking mechanism. Okay, so we'll see. We'll check that out. Also, some people were asking if Kaiser springs fit. Excuse me. They do actually, but I'm not sure if it makes any difference, but they do fit. Maybe if we want to go for the further holes, but we'll try that another day. All right, so here it is. So we're going to take it apart. So let's start with the spring. That aside. Let's keep everything organized because there's a lot of pieces. Oh yeah, this thing's going to fall off too. So let's just take this off while we're here. Let's just keep everything. Let's just take everything off right now. You guys can do it in whichever order. You can take off the back spacers and columns after you deal with the liner and the blade, just to be a little safer. All right, so the back spacer and then 2 little barrels. Okay, let's put that up here. Okay. All right, so now we can deal with the liner. So what I like to do is, this is where I'm going to push out the pivot. Everything's going to fall apart, okay? So you'll see. So just be careful. Right now, it might be tough to actually push out the pivot. All right, I'm putting all my strength on it, and it's barely moving. There you go. So the secret is, pull back the lock. That'll loosen up the pivot. The pivot. Now you can leave it kind of bent like that, or half, 90 degrees, up to you, but it loosens it up. All right, so be careful. Now you can kind of get your tool, push it through. Oops. There it goes. And dump it all out. All right, so that's what you're left with. Okay. Let's put this over here. Keep it nice and organized. You got your two bearings. Boom. Okay. All right. So next step is we're going to take this liner off. What's holding this together also is because this the crossbar has the omega spring on this side that we're going to need to loosen up. All right. Just get that separated there. So 6 main body screws, 2 liner screws, pivot, 2 washers, 2 barrel spacers, back spacer. What else? All right, so here. So here I left with this. What do? Undo the spring. That thing loosens up. You can pull that out. Comes apart. Okay. Let's take that spring off. Just organize everything. Also, this liner, I think this stop pin slash barrel spacer is Loctited to this liner. At least mine. I can't seem to pull it off. I don't want to yank it off. I don't really need to. But here are the cool little tiny liners. So remember, this is facing in, okay? It's for the bearings. All right, so there you have it. Good? All right, so here comes the easy part, right? Let's organize this. All right, cool. All right, let's put it together. So we're about 7.5 minutes right now. Normally I should be pretty quick with this if I wasn't talking, trying to explain. But yeah, this whole task should maybe take you 8 minutes in total. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, so I'm gonna start with the show side liner. Okay, the one facing in. First step is I'm going to get the lock bar or crossbar, put it in. Okay. Those grooves, that's for the omega spring. It's not like a track for this thing or anything. All right, so let's get the spring on. And you'll know quickly if you got the right spring or the wrong spring. So one little trick I like to do is put the spring in first, come back and come down. Oops, came off. Put that in. Bam, got it. All right, so that's step 1. Okay. Next, we can actually put it back on the liner now. Okay, because that's all we needed to do. All right, man, great fit. All right, so let's get the screw in. Short screw for the liner. Then we have a screw up here for the stop pin slash barrel spacer. All right, Now, while I'm here, I'm going to put on these barrel spacers just to get them out of the way. All right. So you can put this on right now, but then it might slip off. So let's leave this aside. All right. So next step, we're going to put in the pivot. D shape. It's facing towards the butt end of the knife. That way. Got it? Perfect. Next, bearing. All right, so here's the tricky part. I want to put on the blade now. But we got to move this lock. All right? It's in the way. So push this pivot in securely, put it in. Now pull that back. And I like to take this finger, hold the pivot. Alright, so when I push the blade in, it's not going to push the pivot out. Pull that lock back. And then push, bam. Let go of the blade. Let go of the lock. Now we're good to go. See that? Next step, the other washer, or the other bearing. Now, the other tricky part. Whoops. Alright, so remember, this side facing in. So be careful. Let's push that the pivot in real quick. Make sure it's in all the way. Alright, so here, this is where you're gonna be careful, alright? So you don't want the blade to fall forward onto your own fingers, because we're gonna be pulling this back again. We're gonna be pulling the bar back again like this. So you don't want it to drop on you. So maybe turn your hand a bit and then pull back, okay? So it's not leaning forward onto your own hand. Alright, so take this, make sure that side's facing down. Pull this back. And let go. So now it's going to be like this. Okay, it's alright. Because you can then push this down. Slide that back. Boom. See that? Alright, so now it's loose. So you're going to want to push this down, but the pivot kind of pushed out. So what do? Reposition like that. Because now you're going to want to pull this lock back just a tad so it releases the pressure on the blade. Okay, watch. Now be careful, this thing might swing down. Alright, there, pushed it in more, see that? Boom. Perfect. Next, the spring. Let's do that trick again. So I'm going to put in the hole. Boom. Good. Oh, whoops, that thing went behind. It went behind the bar. Alright. Boom. Whatever, you guys get it. Why now? Alright, got it. Alright, good. Oh, that thing's still off. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Next, bam. Oh yeah, bam. Backspacer, scale. Guys, we're the home stretch. Let's just do the liner first. This is where I like to check. Good. Don't worry about all the tightness, the tightness on the screws. Oh. We're gonna want to back them all out later and then tighten them again. Nice and evenly. All right. Good. See, that wasn't too bad, right? Nice. Hey, pretty centered. Do I need to adjust it? Yeah, much stronger on that the first setting. There it is.